So here we are, week 7 of my run in REBBRL College League. It's the Triton Trolls Killers versus the High Council of Dank, who are a High Elf team. I have set up in an unusual formation. Troll in the centre with his guard, making the guys either side of him much more difficult to hit, 2 Black Orcs. And then I've got these little L shapes here with a Blitzer, a Black Orc and a lineman on both sides. And then my 2 Mighty Blow players, a tackle at the back and Mighty Blow focused in front. And the idea of this is that it should deny him from all methods possible of getting a 2 dice hit with a punch or a blitz in his first turn. I am kicking, he will be attacking towards me. The only slight chance he's got of bringing some guys all the way around the back, getting a couple of assists in and punching from here, or cancelling and getting an assist in punch from here, which is not really a great thing for him to do because he leaves one guy in contact with a Black Orc. So if he chooses to do that, well, big whoop. The guy he's most likely to do it to is possibly my dirty player. But I'm expecting him to try and score fast, and if he doesn't score fast, I'm going to pressure, and try and get the ball off him. Because that's what I didn't do against the Wood Elves, and that's what I'm going to try and do today. He did get one special skill up, which is this one, Nerves of Steel, which means he can pass, catch, and intercept, and ignore all tackle zones touching him. So I'm well aware of him being a pretty vaguely scary guy. And he also has a kick, which we'll see later. So let's see what happens. So it starts off with a Blizzard, which is great, because it means GFIs are hard. That's the extra squares of movement. But the kickoff event is, of course, changing weather nice. So that just means it's slightly easier for him to score fast, which is annoying. And it seems that Wizard Weather Blizzard is going to be with us for a while, which is kind of annoying. Can't seem to get rid of it. There we go, it's gone now. So he is just doing safe move actions without rolling on the dice at the moment and moving lots of guys down to be scoring threats, and also defending his scoring threats with a cover from the back so I can't get round and get 2 dice hits on them all. I've only got 1 blitz, so I can only choose to blitz one of these guys. And this Nerves of Steel guy, it's almost worthless me putting guys next to him. So he's definitely looks like he's going for a 2-turn score. And if we look at this guy, his movement is 6, which isn't that far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A couple of GFIs, maybe a pass down. It's probably going to be a handoff and a pass. So I'm just doing something to get some players in the way of this. To kind of force him to do it, otherwise he's going to get severely beaten. And also I'm looking to put some pressure forward, maybe just a little bit. He's just out of safe blitzing range. I can't blitz him with anybody the guys have got because he's just too far away. So I decided to go for this guy and mark this guy because, you know, why not? But this guy is unmarked, but I've got an intercept guy in the way. So I've kind of shut down his Nerves of Steel, which is possibly his best option, but I've left this guy free, so that's probably going to be the option he goes for. Though I have... So I went a little bit forward just to put some small pressure on, but as expected, a couple of GFIs, which have been really hard in the snow, and just going for the pass. I do have a 6+ intercept, which I fail. So pass, catch, score, which is great news for me because I now have 7 turns to march downfield, causing him as much damage as possible and score, and then do exactly the same with 8 turns in the second half and win. And I have a dirty player, and I would very much favour myself to get some kind of damage on him with a Mighty Blow and a tackle Mighty Blow, and him being... Oh, his armour 7, and some of the guys, and the rest of the guys are armour 8. So I'll try and talk through what I'm doing each turn, because that will help anybody who's watching this who doesn't know Blood Bowl to understand the rules a little bit. Let's whiz fast forward past this bit. And fast forward past this bit. So this is how I set up to try and defend against the fact that he's got kick. What does kick do? Normally, when the ball lands, it scatters one of 8 directions, d6 quantity. With kick, you can I think half the d6 quantity or something like that, so you can much more target where you want to put it. So he could choose to put it maybe here and it would go sort of in this kind of area, or way back at the back, which he might choose to do to make it really slow for me to bring the ball forward. So I just don't want to give him an opportunity to easily run people through, so I'm kind of skipping some hits that I can do on his guys for the opportunity to do that. So he's using the kick. It's a high kick, which is good for me, so he's put it way over here. But I've got a high kick, so I get to put a guy under it. That's kick-off event. And that means I can move it safely in with no risk whatsoever. So that's great news for me. Rather than waiting a couple of turns, collecting the ball from deep and bringing it forward, I'm already most of the way up the pitch in no time flat. Now, punching. This guy is strength 3. My guy punching him is strength 3. So that would mean I get 1 block dice. Because I have this guy stood next to him, he gives me an extra +1 strength assist, making that a 2 dice. So you can see down the bottom here, I rolled 2 dice. Unfortunately, I only got this push pow, and he has the dodge skill. And dodge skill means that he can ignore push power, so he doesn't fall over, it's just treated as a push, which is unfortunate. I did think about maybe blitzing him to get around that, but I kind of thought no. So really I'm just trying to make sure he can't dodge through easily to get to the ball. I want to blitz this guy. It's a little bit of a risk, because this guy now doesn't have the movement to get away. But I've got a casualty. So how do casualties work? You'll see down here, I roll 2d6 to try and beat his armour. I've rolled an 8. I have to get higher than his armour, which is 8. But I get Mighty Blow, so I get to add +1 to that, making that a success. Then I roll the injury dice, which is 2d6. And anything higher than a 9 is an injury. And I think 8 and 9 is a knockout. So I've got an injury, and then if he's injured, we then roll a d6 and a d8, and if you roll a 6, it's death. 4 and 5 is some kind of injury that can be semi-permanent, and anything less than that, it's just a badly hurt, which means he's out for the rest of the game. He doesn't use his apothecary, so he's only 1 man down, he's got reserves, so this is it's a good start there. So I'm just trying to kind of safely do something. Oh, and then I get a second really lucky injury. That one's naked, no Mighty Blow. That one he does use the apothecary on, even though it's a missed next game, which the apothecary, when you roll your apothecary, you get to roll a second injury roll, and you can pick whichever one you want. But he rolled exactly the same one, missed next game, so that's second player out, which is great news for me, because now best he's going to have next time is 10. No foul opportunities, because unfortunately they've both left the pitch, but that's good news. So I bring these guys forward, so it's a 3 dice with the troll. Possibly should have followed with the troll here. Not an injury, unfortunately, but it is an armour break. So if you roll an armour break and then you don't roll the high number for injury, you just get stunned, which means he's unable to act next turn. So then I figure I should probably try and cover a little bit, because he has got a dodge path through the middle here. Dodging. Each player has a set of tackle zones. You're okay to move into them, but if you move out of them, you have to make a 3-up roll. And if you've got agility 4, like the elf, it's a 2-up. If you're dodging into another square that's somebody else's tackle zone, it's -1 for every tackle zone you're jumping into. So I got lucky here on the blitz he had. It's just a push. And so now I'm in pretty good shape to start marching downfield. And I've got lots of turns to do it. And he's probably just going to do the classic elf screen, which is set up in files of 2. So all I can do is blitz down the front guy. And I did manage to get this a little bit wrong. The troll's useful. I do get this a little bit wrong here. Because what I'm supposed to do is punch the guy down and then bring the guys in to make a line in front of my cage. So I've got a wall of 3 where that guy was, so I can punch forward again. I consistently get that wrong throughout this game, which is a mistake. But the good news here is I can punch him onto the troll, but I choose not to. Because I knew he was going to be knocked out. Ridiculous. So in this case, the armour roll didn't need the Mighty Blow, but the injury roll, it was useful. 7 + 1 makes 8, just enough for a knockout. So Mighty Blow helping me out mightily. And I'm looking for a foul here. The first foul, it's got 1 assist. So it's only a 1 assist foul, so not the greatest foul in the world, but I'm players up. And it does get me a knockout, which is great. So, fouling. Clearly I haven't got sent off there. So, fouling. You roll 2d6 on a down... You go and stand next to him, and then you kick him in the nuts, and you roll 2d6, and you get to add 1 for every assisting player you've got standing around. So, this guy is cancelled by this guy, I believe. This guy gives a +1, and because he's got dirty player, he's got a +1 anyway. That's a skill he's got. So that was a +2 foul. 4 for 4, it's only showing +1. Don't know why. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be taken into account in the dirty player, but nevertheless, it beats 9. And then the injury is, I guess it only shows you it if you need it, which I didn't. And then an injury roll, an 8, which is a knockout. So happy days. But I lost a guy too. But he's now well down. If that had been a permanent injury, it would have been worse. So now fouling's a little bit more risky for me, because if I get sent off again, I will not have a full team in the second half. And I probably want a full team in the second half. So I'm probably going to think more carefully about fouls in future. So this turn it's great because I've got the try out in front. So I've gained an extra kind of row of space because of that. And again, this poor guy on the right's getting ganked. This time he is hit. But nothing permanent. So I have got space here to move into, so that's where I should be going. But the troll is not helpful. Troll, you roll a d6. If you roll higher than a 1, then he actions. And if he doesn't, you don't get much joy. So that way I can... And again, this is possibly a mistake, in that I could have got an extra square of movement, possibly, and put these guys 2 further forward. 1 square further forward, had I blitzed this guy and then moved the 2 guys in. But the troll's better at that. So I'm getting my moving the cage forward a bit wrong here. Which it took me a while to twig. And I've only rolled a push, which is really bad. But I figured it's worth using the reroll at this point. I've only got 5 turns, worth using one, and if he's removed, it's well worth it. So pin that guy down a little bit. And then maybe just keep a bit of width so he can't come around the back. But I decided that was a bit too far. So at the moment it's a 1 punch each per turn. Whose armor's going to break the first? Mine shouldn't break because I'm armor 9. But you know, anything's possible. And this kind of sucks one player's action to be the assist. It sucks the blitz action, and then this guy can move afterwards. So it does use up 1 player by me being over here. And I'll just continue trying to create space to keep going forward. Again, trying to pin this guy down with that move. And again, really I should be blitzing now. Oh, good, I've got it right. Unfortunately, he doesn't shift from that square, which makes it hard for me to safely move the cage forward to here. So instead, I spot this opportunity to pin down all these guys here. Certainly his dodge guy is going to be a harder get out, and it gives me an opportunity to go up the left a little while. So I only go 1 square forward, but I've still got 3 turns after this turn. And that just, maybe I should have done something a bit more aggressive with this guy and gone and stood here. And then I could have brought this guy around, but I like, you know, kind of like this. Certainly gives him some dice to roll to get out. But unfortunately this guy could just stand up and he's sort of blocking the front, but he's probably not going to, just going to dodge out, so I get a 3 punch on him. So again, I'm not making much progress. I've got 3 turns. I'm only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm only 2 turns worth of movement away. So it's really, if he leaves me a space, I'm going to kind of scream into it now. And maybe the space is on the right here, because these guys are a long way away from the action. Maybe that's where the space is. And I've got a player over there already. So seeing that, I decide to go for this punch here, which works. Send him inland. Stun him, which is great, because he's a dodge player. And then I'm trying to get some space up the right here. Arguably could have gone further, don't know. I really want to have my fast players going faster. So this is a bit of an attempt at a reverse to kind of get up and around. Maybe a GFI would have been useful there. Maybe left that till the end and done a GFI would have been better. Just for that extra, or 2 GFIs to get well up the side here. But I'm desperately trying to count squares to make the ball safe so we can't come around the side here. Which is why this guy ended up going all the way back there. So now I've gone a long way over to the right, which is great, but with some dodges he can cover it off quite easily. But I've still got a turn to move back to centre and hopefully gain a couple of squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's already within scoring range with 2 GFIs, so 2 squares and he's within scoring range without. So, you know, I'm hoping for a dice failure by him, but you know, now there's potentially some space to get a little bit forward with some guys over here, or I can blitz through down here. So I've only got 4 minutes to play this, and I thought, well, if I can get the guard guy to here, which he reaches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then I can blitz this guy out of the way and then get a guy around to here. So I've got a guy here and a guy here, and maybe get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe get some guys around. Maybe that's a kind of a way of getting through up here. But it was all a bit difficult for my brain to process. And the problem with going here is I think all these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, can all jam in. And he's probably going to do some kind of a cage dive. And all he needs is a push to knock me off and I'm done. So I thought about it, but I assessed it as not the best play. And I thought, if I can get this guy down, I can probably do some kind of a cage up over here. But I did make a bit of a boo-boo this turn. Again, it's counting and figuring things out, and life is hard when you try and do that kind of stuff. So there's my assist to punch him, and that lets me get a little bit extra past. So this is already a risk there with the GFI. That's sort of a rear cage corner. And here's where I make the mistake. What I should have done is gone from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, punch him for 6. It costs 1 movement to get the punch in. And that would have been no dice, just the hit, life is all golden. Instead, I do this. I go over here, having used 6 movement, and then it's a GFI to punch him. And of course, just when you need that to work, you roll double 1. And now I'm in all kinds of trouble here. Because although this guy can technically go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he is technically within scoring range. I think he can stop me fairly easily by bringing these guys round. This guy moves at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. GFI, GFI. And then this guy's got dodge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, punch him in the face. So he can get a 2 dice hit on me here, which is probably what I would have done, because the ball out of my hands means I have to do a pickup. These guys gunning it up means I've got to do a lot of hits, and that's probably what he should have done. Instead, he's very worried about this guy scoring, so he targets him with the blitz. So, you know, I've really left this completely unsafe, just 1 step across, which, you know, all because I did that. And actually, maybe I should have moved this guy across before I did that. I don't know. But it was a mistake rolling 2 1s in a row and allowing myself to be able to. Because if those 2 1s had been 2 skulls on the hit, I could have re-rolled it and that would have been fine. Chances are it's 1 in 12, 9, 6 to get 4 skulls in a row. It's only 1 in 36 to get 2 1s in a row. So he decides to punch that guy. Now he's still scoring threat, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's hard to hand off to him because to give him the ball, he's got to roll dice and he's got very low agility. It's an agility roll. So I can still score, and he makes the cardinal error here of leaving me on that hit from last time. Or better still, yeah. Alright, I've got to make 2 GFIs to score because of my cock-up, but all I need to do is shove this guy just with a push to one side, and if I get a both down, it's still good from this square, because he's on his arse, and I can go here and through. So this is absolutely safe, and anything else I'm doing before here is just in case I fail a GFI, so we can't punch my good players. Not that he's got a turn left anyway. So there's the hit. And it does take him down. Need to follow. She didn't need to follow, but did. Got an injury, so glorious. This one's another miss next game, so that's going to mess him up for next game, which is... And then it's just 2 GFIs with a re-roll. So for those to fail, it would have been a 2 1s in a row. 1 in 36 again, but I did it time before. So got myself out of trouble there because he didn't play it as well as he could have done, I think. But I had options to score at that point. Just that was with the least dice. He left me the least dice. Just 1 2 dice hit, and I couldn't have made it a 3 dice, I don't think. So the first half's gone great. So basically I've now got 8 turns to get all about field, and when I score, as long as he doesn't score back on me in whatever turns are left, it's a victory. I've got a full team of 11 players. He is down 2 players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Next, 9 versus 11, so it's all good. And I can do a similar kind of format again, because again he's going to do kick shenanigans. And there he is doing his kick shenanigans. Again, extra reroll, which is great. But the ball's quite deep, so that's going to take me a few turns to get back. So, first action, cover the ball in case he gets through. I need to block that space a little bit, which I do there. That's then a relatively safe hit. That's okay, so the dodges through are quite tricky here. I still decide to go for this, which is risky in the extreme, because again, it's hanging my guy out all the way over here. This time, don't get a casualty for it. Move that guy in here so that if this fails, move him there, which leaves this a bit thin, and then decide not to take the hits. Just because I don't like the smell of it if I fail, and I want to have the reroll for this. So, you know, 1, 2, 3 attempts to catch the ball there, all 3 fail. But the ball goes forward, which is somewhat helpful. But actually brings it nearly within range of him, but luckily there's nobody who can actually get to it. He's just outranging to try and run and get it. And even if he did, he'd have to bring 2 or 3 through, or else I'm probably going to get him anyway. And I've got guys that can come back, these 2. So it's not a terrible position for me to have failed, but it ain't great. This time he gets a better result. He also decides to go for a foul, which, you know, if it fails, if he gets sent off, he's in worse position. If he injures me, he's in a better position. Just gets us done. I knew he was a bit of a fouler in crazy situations based on his previous gameplay. But, you know, I'm quite happy for him to make risky fouls. So, again, make the ball safe. I want to get my blitz in. I also want to do it in a way that still keeps things a little bit safe. I want it to be moved mighty blow, and this was about the best way I could think of to somewhat block the space. I don't love this, because it does leave a path through for this guy. Had the troll been won over, it would have been better. And again, I completely failed to pick the ball up. But I pick it up on the second attempt, and then I decide, because this guy can get through, if I just move back so he literally can't touch me, it's not going to cost me much movement upfield, and it's just 100%, there's no way he can hurt me. And that does let me get the troll in, but the troll... I wanted to move the troll forward, but he went stupid, so... So I'm kind of hanging this guy out to be punched a bit, but it is what it is. I don't think he does a blitz this turn, which is bizarre. Opens with a foul. Gets absolutely nothing for it, doesn't get sent off. And then he sends this guy through, which I don't think is great. And then he tries to punch him with a 1 dice blitz, for which costs him a reroll. So I thought that was of little value, given he couldn't get to the ball anyway. It doesn't put any pressure on. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and be safely caged up. No problem at all. So, having a guy through. Troll, again, not being very helpful, which certainly makes progress upfield tricky, but I'm not really aiming to progress upfield this turn anyway. I just want to make the ball safe. And given that, I could have punched this guy. In fact, I think I ended up doing a massive cock-up and maybe not punching anybody. Oh no, I ended up punching this guy, but I leave myself in base contact, which isn't great. So that makes this a slightly better protected thing. We can still punch the guy on the right, but if I kind of want him to, he's coming over here to get hits on this guy. Oh, here we go. Another injury, so happy days there. This guy's on fire. And I kind of realised that I can't let him come around the back because I've not put a cage corner on. And then I think, actually, because of this gap here, I need to do a couple of GFIs because I've forgotten the trolls back. So that was a bit of a misplayed turn. He did 2 GFIs to make the ball safe because he could have just dodged through really easily here and gummed me up. But I got away with it. Oop. And, you know, this guy's very, very, very punchable over here. And he is my best player. But instead he just decides to come and punch this guy, which seems a bit bizarre to me. I'd much rather he punch this guy than this guy. I guess he's more chance of getting a removal on this guy. because he's got block protected. I need to leave a guy in base contact with me if I didn't go down. Yeah, if it was both down. So now I've got to make some progress forward. The troll is at least playing the game. Can fairly safely get the ball forward to there. The troll is a pretty safe cage corner even when based. Decide to base this guy. Just a little bit on the dangerous side. I'm not looking for a mighty blow hit. Right up the middle here. Just trying to protect this corner a little bit because he's based. I don't think he'll be able to get guys around too easily. So I've gone a little bit to the right, and I've only rolled a push, which is, you know, criminal. Didn't want to risk the reroll. You know, I've only got 2. I need to be able to defend against the double skulls. And have a dodge for having to dodge to score at the end. But at least, you know, I've got a decent flat line. I've covered a bit of width here. Well, I've given him potentially a hit, but that takes up an action, and I didn't mind that. Just the elf screen here is it's quite frightening. At least I would imagine coming back, he'd be crazy to leave him downfield, goal hanging. That's what the wood elf mistake the wood elf make. You know, he's got a problem. How does he stop this from just juggernauting downfield? 1 square for turn 13, 14, 15, 13, 14, 15. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need to make more than 1 square. And this is where it becomes problematic. How do you make more than 1 square? What you do is you punch and then you move the guys forward to gain 2 squares. And this is what I'm not doing. You blitz in first. This is it. I'm doing it now. Blitz in. Knock him over, not in that square. That's frustrating. And then you move guys ahead to there and there who can handle getting punched. And I don't do that this turn. So I only make 1 square again. So I've got to start doing that next turn. But I've got quite a nice wall. I'm again a little bit far to the right, which I don't like. But I'm getting guys forward. Just this guy not going back made it tricky. I couldn't put the ball here because he could get into it. Again, I've hung this guy out to dry, but the idea being, well, if I put him there, that's a harder dodge for him to make. But he makes it. 4. I think he maybe makes a mistake here. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. Maybe there's some weakness over here I can exploit, is what I figure. Possibly can't get 2 squares this turn, but maybe I can. I can get that far. And then it's... Can I actually get the ball safe? Because it's a long traverse for me. Troll doesn't help. And I haven't got many speedy players, so it's all a bit hard, but I am making some progress to get some players faster forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's now a scoring threat. And the ball's still very safe over here. And I am a little bit more central now. And there's a chance, you know, he might... You know, these guys are a long way from there, so he's got to shuffle everybody across, but he's only going to do 1 dodge, so it shouldn't be difficult for him. But I've also got the option to thrust back this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, you know, I've got 2 turns left, and I'm dragging him into width. But then this happens. This is what happens when he's got to roll dice. He didn't have to roll these dice. He could have brought the middle guys. So there's a bit of a mistake here. Because the dodges are the same as GFIs. 3, 4, 5. So he fails his 2 GFIs. And that just makes it incredibly easy for me just to get well forward, cage up down here. 1 more square would have been good. You know, it's really not hard for me to get into position where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I can't fail to score really. It's just not cocking it up. It's the key bit here. Who's my front cage corner? That guy. Nope. Who's my front cage corner? Oh no, I see. We're not going all the way. I see. Yes, he was just a stop him from getting round kind of guy. Troll, yeah, not playing at all. That's typical. And then he's going to blitz him out to be the rear cage corner. Vaguely risky, but not too bad. Then I can do this Black Hawk punch. Oops, needed a reroll on that, but it's okay, I've got one. Probably follow, just to try and pin down a guy, and these guys can sort of get somewhere useful, just to stop the cage dive in here. And a cage dive in from the back. Because that's going to gun me up. So I've done quite a good job, because of his failures. Just dragging left caused him to have to make decisions. I'm not sure he made the best decisions. And pretty much this turn he's like, soft concede, you win. I don't want to get punched anymore. And I think I could have done a 3 dice on the ball next turn. I had more than twice his strength. So he's strength 6, so I need strength 4 guy plus 3 assists, or a strength 3 guy plus 4 assists. And I had the surplus players to do it, I think, on this guy here. But even that, I could roll triple skulls into triple skulls. And, you know, I decided that I would rather take the guaranteed win than try and get a couple more star player points than someone. I did think about it, because I think I can do it. Here. So, get a guy in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 squares I can get into. And also, the guard guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and have that square. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would have been pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe not easy. Because I can't get into this square easily. So with a Black Hawk I could do it. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So with a Black Hawk who don't have block I could have done it. Maybe. But yeah, I didn't even look at it too close, I just thought it's not going to happen. The troll's too far away to get into that square, he's got guard as well. The guard guy was just a square too forward. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he needs to be able to do 7. So I was only going to do a GFI to do it. So that was it. Just score, no pouncing about. And now it's just, he's got turn 16 to try and score back. Now, I don't know with movement 7 guys how many men you need in the pitch to do the illustrious 1-turn touchdown. But I figured my safest guys in the line are the troll and the 2 linemen, because they're the guys I care least about. If they die, I get a lone alignment replacement. Alright, they've both got 5-star player points, but that's just life, isn't it? They're the guys who are not important. This guy's levelled, so the Black Hawks. You know. So I set them wide to make it harder for him to do the 1-turn, but as it turns out, he's not setting up for the 1-turn. He's just setting off the punches, which is annoying. But then this happens. The kickoff event is a riot, giving him an extra turn. And had he set up for that, he could possibly have scored much easier. But he didn't. But what he did manage to do was injure them on the first punch. Just a badly hurt. Shove him along the line a bit, I think. Multiple blocks. So he set up to get as many punches as he could here. The last one works. Doesn't mean I'm not getting fouled, but look at this. Dead! Igig 9 Fingers dead! What a bastard! Luckily the Apo works, so he's not dead. But now he's also got a hit and possibly a foul on the troll. And next time as well. And so now he's got spare players who probably should have moved at least one of them back before. Because he wants to be able to go and throw a pass and get a star player point for throwing a pass. So that was a bit shit. So I decided to take a troll blitz because he's got Mighty Blow and I might kill this guy. I get a push. Decided to re-roll it because why not? And again, roll the push. And so he could potentially blitz the troll on 2 dice. Might can't make it 3, but I think he thinks it's more chance of star player points throwing the pass. Should have moved this guy in further first to make it a shorter pass. But he rolls a 1 and he done. So yeah, he missed the opportunity there. I mean, you should always set up for the riot if you need it to win. And also for the 1-turn, because it happens. And then the blitzer who scored twice also got the MVP, which is glorious. So in terms of SPP, well, he managed a massive 11 in a single game. One of the Blackhawks finally did some damage, Farfu, so that's 2 now on 2-star player points. And Bork, Korgak Hector was a new guy. Who's Bork? Bork's my tackle mighty blow guy who cooked off with 3 Kaz in this game. Oh, glorious. So yeah, pretty good. And the elves got a boatload because they got those 2 fluky Kaz right at the end there for these 2. They got their pass, they scored once, and got an MVP. So just to make sure it wasn't a total fluke, stats, what do we have here? He did 12 blocks, succeeded in the entire match and got 2 injuries. I mean, that's just spawny. I did 20 blocks, not that many, but he was dodging out a lot and got 2 KO and 4 injuries inflicted, so that's not bad. Anything else here to look at? Let's look at the dice rolls. Triton's Troll Killers block dice. It's not great, is it? 15, 11, 21. Good job I was hitting with blocks so much, eh? 20 blinking 1 against naked guys. Scary. His block dice. 6, 6, 11. So nobody had great block dice this game. Let's just check out the D6, just because that's what's interesting. Dodges, probably better than they should have been. Armour, injuries, casualties, got lucky. Catches, caught his 1 catch, going for it. That's what caught him out. His going for it percentage was not what it should have been. Pick up, safe throw, pass, and wake up after knockout. He got 2 of them, so he was a little bit lucky there. And for me, I'm on the wrong thing. There we go, that's what I want. I don't have a catch. Don't remember a catch. Yeah. When they picked up the ball and it failed and it scattered. Yeah, that would be a catch. Going for it. Probably just right. Don't know. Pickups. Pretty poor. Should be 50-50. Didn't manage that. Dodges. Got lucky on the dodges. Managed them both. Injuries, casualties, intercept. I never successfully intercepted. What a load. I never successfully intercepted. That's just the stats being a lie. I completely failed to successfully intercept. Really stupids were, as ever, really, really, really shit. So I was without the troll for a lot of the time. And I was having to activate him because I was trying to go forward with him, which, rear cage corner, front cage corner, reduce the number of times you have to do it. But, didn't mind because I was up players, I could afford to do it. And my one loner roll, which was the troll right at the end, was a success. So yeah, that makes it all very exciting. I guess a quick look at the leaderboard is worthwhile because I played the High Council of Dank and we were both on the same number of wins. So that puts me up to 4 wins, a draw and 2 losses. So if these 2 guys above me lose, and La Casa de Carta have got a decent chance of it because they are very, very badly injured. So if he loses, he goes behind me. Even a draw puts him behind me, which is good. I probably need to finish top to get out of the division. It seems to be that's what you have to do, is finish top. Not much chance unless the Bramblewood starts dropping serious points. But I'm in pretty good shape because I have beaten the guy that was the best of the guys I've got left to play. I've got the Wraith Reavers to play, who you can see are way down here, and the Maiden Warriors to play. So technically these should be not as good players with less well-developed teams. Or at the very least with less well-developed teams. And if I can beat this guy who's got quite a well-developed team, I think I ought to be able to defeat those. Dice happen. So that's 2 kind of wins. The Lizard Men, his last game against Bramblewood Gardeners, which is one that, if he can get a win, he's doing well. If he can target a draw. So that's where I can get past him when he gets that draw, maybe. And he might come a little bit unstuck because he's a bit short of players. He's a Crocs down. And that means he's going to have 5 skinks, 2 of whom I think are loners next time. So it's all looking pretty good. I hope that was fun, and I will talk to you all next time.